FBI raid that we saw in the early morning hours yesterday at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Democrats and the media appearing to relish the possible legal trouble that the president could face. Watch this.
Tomorrow is the day when you're going to want to buy the physical copy of the newspaper.
Because this is a night where you are going to remember where you were.
Obviously, as big as stakes as you can have.
Perhaps the orange jumpsuit is forthcoming.
Vladimir Putin, he doesn't believe in the rule of law. She doesn't. They all systematically work to break down the rule of law, just like Donald Trump.
If I were like Donald Trump's lawyer right now, and thank God I'm not, I would be advising my client to be telling my family, I am looking at jail time and we should, make plans accordingly.
So you've seen those faces nodding knowingly before many, many times, right? And Speaker Nancy Pelosi dismissed concerns that the raid will shake the country's confidence in our rule of law and in the FBI.
No one is above the law, not even a president or a former president of the United States. But that all of this will, I'm sure, be made known to us over time, but I have no knowledge of it. I do know that there has been chatter, or what more than chatter, about the president's documents and how they must be preserved for history.
So, Greg, when I watch those reactions, I watch Rachel Maddow, I watch Neil Cattell saying that it's time for the former president to tell his family that he's going to jail. My mind goes back to the CIA director, Brennan, right? There will be indictments. There will be plenty of them, right? How many times have we been down this road? When are these folks going to learn that you don't know yet what's going on? You don't know what's in this warrant. You don't know what they have. And it's wiser to keep your mouth shut and say, you know what, until I actually see the affidavit and I see the case they've got, we'll see what happens.
Well, I get it. I mean, ratings. I mean, if we went on the 5 and said we don't know, the show would be dead. So we're in the world of speculation. So are they. However, their speculation always wrong. Walls are closing in. Tick, 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 boom. This is it. It's worse than Watergate. And then it goes away. But they're re-electing him, by the way, just by the way they're talking. But the one thing, some advice to the people at home, is you could be really pissed off at this, but you have to have fun with it, too. Because the press wants you to react angrily because that's the second bite to this apple. They're already doing pieces about pro-Trump message boards, in rage. Surely there's going to be another January 6th. There's going to be, gangs of people in red hats causing problems. So you want to take that away from them. You want to look at this, soberly and have fun with it. They want an excuse to track down more Republicans and people in red hats, and you don't want to give it to them. So I think that's a setup. I also find it interesting and sad that when something big happens to somebody that they don't like, the media doesn't care. We aren't like that, and I'm going to use Alec Baldwin as an example. When that tragedy occurred, we were extremely sympathetic, even though we knew that if the shoe was on the other foot, Alec Baldwin would have been on Twitter laughing at Jesse Waters for shooting me. It would have been, he thought it would be the funniest thing ever. So we are actually, they should actually try to table.
I probably would have missed.
Yeah, you would have. They should need to table their emotional ideology, but they won't.
Jesse.
They get a sick sexual thrill from trying to block up Republicans. It's a perversion. They like to see them dragged out in their underwear at dawn while CNN cameras are staked out there. You've seen it all before. I mean, they've wanted to lock Trump up from the very moment he was inaugurated. They've, I think, raided both of his lawyers' homes. They've raided his associates' homes. They'll pull anybody out in their pajamas to humiliate them because they're just bloodthirsty radical communists. It's a lot easier to throw your political enemies in jail than to actually go out there, debate, persuade, and beat them. They've merged with the national security state, and there's a group, and you're either in the group or you're out of the group. If you're in the group, you'll never get in trouble, and this security state will look out for your financial interests, for the interests of your family. But if you're not in this group, no, they're going to strip search you, do a whole full-body cavity search of you, and humiliate you and your family for the rest of your life. That's why when the Republicans take power back, they can't just, hold hearings. They have to go in, clean house, disbar people, pull this corrupt thing up from the root because it's disgusting and sick. Nancy's up there saying no one's above the law. What about Nancy? I mean, she's fresh off the heels of insider trading allegations. Her husband's been crooked for the last 3 decades. And she does this. She flies her other crooked son over on a government jet to Asia. And he's trying to cook up lithium deals and electric car battery deals in all the places she happens to be going to. And then she scrubs the internet and the transcripts of all indications that she brought her crooked son over there. I mean, he's like Hunter Biden without the crack pipe. You look at Hunter Biden, talk about above the law. I mean, they have emails, texts, national security flags from the Treasury Department, voicemails from the big guy saying they're getting kickbacks on tape, witness testimony that this guy was involved in an international pay-for-play scheme with some of our greatest enemies, the Chinese and the Russians. But they have the FBI covering that up before an election. You know who's above the law. It's the Democratic Party.
Harold, how do you feel about that? Because that's something that I hear from a lot of people. They feel like there's been a destruction of the rule of law. They look at this laptop, and the evidence has been out there for everyone to see. There's drug use. There's, flailing weapons around. There's, likely prostitution on these. And then it doesn't matter if he's just a screwed up, son of a president. The problem is that he's in deals with the Chinese and the Russians, as Jesse just said. And they go, well, what's happening with that? How does that get buried at the FBI? Chuck Grassley, Senator Grassley is like, very upstanding senator. He wants to know what the heck is going on.
I have no clue. What I do know is that I think this investigation, we've asked a couple questions. I think the investigation with Hunter Biden started when President Trump was in office by a U.S. attorney that he appointed. And I think the investigation, from what I understand, continues. And I hope wherever the facts lead them, that the law follows very closely. I don't believe anyone is above the law. I think any person, every person is presumed innocent until proven otherwise in our country, be it Hunter Biden, Hillary Clinton, or Donald Trump. This conversation, I'm always, when someone is accused of something and people start talking about other people, that's fine. But if we don't talk about this particular issue here, all I would ask Democrats on TV to do is everybody take a breath, everybody calm down a bit, as Greg said from the outset, and let's let the facts drive this. This was an unprecedented evening last night. No former president has had his home, had a search warrant served in his home like this and raided. And I'd end where I started last segment. Release the warrant. Let us have an understanding of why they did this, because it may actually get us closer to the ending that some at the table project may actually happen.
You did it again.
Is it my turn?
I'm just an American here.
Release the warrant?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Accuse me of this.
Really? Let me tell you something. They can put anything they want in the warrant. You just said the facts should drive this. Let me tell you what the facts are. That's the term you use.
Yes,
the facts should drive
and
this.
I stand by that.
I know you do. I think it's a good thing. Let me tell you what the facts are. The facts are that Hillary Clinton deleted 33,000 emails, most of them classified, after they were subpoenaed. That's called the destruction of evidence. The fact is she was not prosecuted because James Comey, who cut her loose when he was the head of the Southern District in New York on the Clinton Foundation, decided he was going to cut her loose instead of the Attorney General. The facts are that there was perjured testimony before a FISA judge. The facts are they continued to lie to that FISA judge to re-up the warrant. So let's talk about the facts. The facts are that the Democrats will say or do anything to destroy Donald Trump because he's not part of that network. He is the only person who's been fighting for the American people. And let me tell you something. If the Republicans get back in office, I don't want them to have hearings. I don't want them to clean house. I want them to start prosecuting. I want them to start to make sure that people respond to law and order, that they listen to what the rules are, and that they follow them. Because until the Democrats are taught to do that, they will abuse the law, and we will be the victims of their government overrule.